Alright, well, let's roll. Actually, wait, I forgot to change the control. Oh, whoops. Since this is a PS4 game, I want to use the PS4 controller. What the hell does that mean? Features all previously released episodes as well as the new prequel. Yeah. What are we supposed to play first? You set the name of the game. No Danish. Purchase. Should already have that. Oh well. Go. New game.
Wake up, Ted. Wake up. Bear, wake up.
What in the? Why are you yelling?
You passed out.
No. I was just resting my eyes for a minute.
Shut up and listen. I was in the auditorium just now and saw some commotion up here.
Up here?
It seems someone snuck up on you and hit you over the head with that bottle.
Sure. Why not? That's what happened.
I think whoever knocked you out locked the door behind me.
Wait, we're locked in?
Most definitely.
Any other exits?
There's a protection window, but the projector's too close. Can't squeeze through.
Okay, let's see if you can move that thing somehow.
What the fuck? Doesn't that thing weigh several ton?
A working projector. That's neat. I can't move the projector right now. It's locked in place.
Carrot juice.
Bottle of old Carrot Hill. Someone hit Ted over the head with it.
Yeah, those bastards, you know.
Carrot juice. I thought it was whiskey. Thick film reel.
This one really stands out. There's no title, though. I'll take this one. Maybe we can use it on that window over there.
Huh. It's as thick as they come. Must be something important.
It's as thick as they come, he says. Can I click on my bear friend? No.
Just a regular white sheet.
Sheets are underrated.
The hangs
I'll take
bear.
it with me.
Really like table.
I guess. It's differently tabled.
Okay, just get out.
I'm really trying, kid.
Nice pun, Mr. Pear.
Could be something useful inside. It's a wrench. I'll take it.
Cabinet.
It's filled with stuff, I guess.
Good guess.
Solid guess.
Broken. Can you fix it, Bear?
No. Besides, there's literally another one that works right next to it. It's locked, as established earlier. I don't have the key. We need to find another way out.
This game indeed. This is the game Langrid picked yesterday from winning the bingo. I wanted to play this year since it came out in 2019 on PlayStation. Well, yeah, I bought it when it came out, but then, well, never got to play it till now.
It's super dusty. I'll take it with me.
We can tie these into a rope.
Yo, that's really nice, Boxy. That's really rare. Actually found people that know what they're doing. Fucking nice. Now you'll actually be able to play the game.
I have to open the window first.
This could be our way out.
Fourth plat in a
But
row.
the projector is in the way.
Need 25 on achievement. You'll be able to get that quick. I think if you just keep going. With you and your heisting pals.
I can't reach it. The projector's in the way.
A quick way to access the inventory. How did I do that? R1. Hey man, hello Steven. Hello Mr. Segal. You double the rank of everyone else? Or are they like sort of brand new, the people you're playing with? Yeah, I mean, that thing is like, yeah, that thing is so OP. That thing is so good, the Armored Goroma. The lifesaver. Yeah, okay. You're like a god to them. You're like, they're like, oh my god. Holy shit, he's so high level. Wow. He actually knows what he's doing. He has all the cool shit too. Oh my god. Nice.
It's spinning, but that's about it.
Oh, nice observation. Touch it.
I should turn it off first. I kind of like my fingers.
No, really, do you now?
It's an on-off switch. Pretty self-explanatory.
Your first time with the heist. It's fine. Shh, just don't tell him that. Don't tell him that. Shh. They don't need to know that.
I'll just leave it here on the floor. It seems any type of film could fit here.
Maybe put this in here.
That's a good idea. I just need to move it back a bit before I start tampering with it. I can't move the projector right now. It's locked in place. A working projector.
Wait, how's it locked in place? Oh. I see.
I can't unscrew. It's resting on these small rails. There. We should be able to move it now.
Nice.
We can get a bit closer to the window now. What are you even doing here?
It was your sister's idea. It's this whole thing. Hey, where is she? How come you're here?
She had to take care of something. She asked me to step in for a bit.
She did.
That's what I just said.
Anyways, I'm not explaining all of this to you.
Why not?
You'll be gone as soon as Amber gets back, so what's the point? We both know this detective game isn't your cup of tea, superhero boy.
She...
what? Where is she?
I told you. She had something to do. You know, in real life.
She hasn't told me anything.
Well, she was in a hurry.
All this sounds really strange, kid. You know that.
Look, you can talk to her when she gets back. Get off my case.
Fine. Let's focus on getting the hell out of here first, and then I'll brief you in.
The bear sounds sus. Well, he sounds like a young Agent 47. Young 47. Bear 47, the detective.
Now, if I could tie this to the window, maybe we could use a projector to pull it open.
Wait, what should we need that to open the window? Why is that? Is it like locked?
This could be our way out. Maybe we can use the projector to pull it out somehow.
Wait, what?
The window is stuck. I need to find a way to
Oh,
yank
it's
it open.
stuck. I'm like, why can't we just open it? Makes sense.
A working projector.
Oh my god, move it.
Can't tighten the screws by hand.
What? I clicked on the screw? No, move the thing. Oh, let me see.
Okay, this could work. Bear?
The film looks
Bear.
strong enough. Go for it.
I can't use it now. The projector will slide back again. Let's lock it in place.
What is this? A cinema ticket? I like cinema ticket.
Great job.
Strong
kid.
film.
Vandalism at its best.
Thanks,
It's too high to
Bear.
jump. We need some kind of rope. This sheet is too short by itself.
Oh, can I combine them?
There! Now
Oh.
I can use it as a rope. There we go.
Holy sheet, kid. You
Oh my
actually pulled
God.
it off.
Did he really just say that? Did he really? Holy shit,
Nothing
he
to
says.
You didn't pull a muscle, did you?
Pull a muscle. I'm made of stuffing. Anyways, let's get going.
That's fucking
Where?
Bear.
What were you even doing here?
Oh, Marsha, Bear
Okay,
stuffing.
briefing. Robots are disappearing all over the city, and their union hired me and your sister to find out who's behind it. And what?
I need your help to save the
What do
world.
you-
I need
we're
you to
in the
tie.
middle of the goddamn
Missing in hot
investigation.
stream
Sounds like
LMFAO.
sloppy work to me.
Yeah, like you'd know what work sounds like.
Fair enough.
There was
You
this
type
guy who was
missing?
missing. Robbie left a coat behind with a movie ticket.
So?
The date on the ticket, it was the same night he went missing.
Okay, I get it.
Anyways, I didn't find anything. But somebody else was apparently bothered by us snooping around here. That's good.
How's that good?
Relatively. It means we're on the right track. Let's go back to the entrance. Rossum, the old robot who works here, he must have seen someone enter after us.
To the entrance, Ted.
Keep it down, god damn it. What is this, loud idiot day?
Loud idiot. Bear with me. I like this Bear already. He's good. He's funny. But I appreciate the 10 bits
So,
as well.
Where's this
And
robot of yours?
appreciate it.
I guess he left.
He left, alright. Left everything wide open and all the lights on.
Is trust not valued anymore by your generation?
I can't tell if you're being serious.
I'm not.
Where the hell is this Ross guy, Ted?
Rossum. And I don't know, kid. He was here before. He let me in.
There are bolts all over the floor. And it kinda looks like...
God damn it.
You think?
God
He's
damn
wrong,
it.
kid. Whoever locked us in there, they've got him now.
So? Now what?
Look around for a bit. See if you can find anything.
Sure.
There's one mad bear. It's one comedian bear. A jokester of
It's
a
some
bear.
sort of flyer. Jungle jazz bar.
Very sharp gamer. Hey, you're welcome. You're welcome, Mr. Randa. You're welcome. Enjoy your win. Enjoy your bingo win. And thanks for the hydrate, my good sir. And enjoy the lurk as well. Appreciate it.
Says, get your ass down to Jungle Jazz Room this weekend and try our famous Southside
Get your
Fizz.
ass.
One free drink with this coupon.
Take it with you. I feel like it's an important clue.
Coupon part was torn off, Ted.
Throw it away then. Who cares?
I'll take it with me. Maybe we could use it somehow.
These screws. They belong to old Rossum.
How can you tell?
Stainless steel. All the robots are using them. Plus, they weren't here before.
Oh my, that white stuff. Oh, I see. I see what we're referencing here.
I'll
Yeah.
pick them up.
Just just missing a few hops of that white stuff.
There's no one here. And I could see some signs of struggle.
And then we've got Bear with me and cocaine.
Nah, I don't want to sell tickets.
This game is really nice already so far. I already like the atmosphere. The atmosphere in this game.
Just trash. I don't feel like going through it.
You and me both, kid.
I'll take it with me. I could use it as a club, maybe.
What? You really just picked that up and put it in your back pocket? Alright, okay. Jesus, man.
This could only really stop you, Bear.
Was that a short joke?
Planet cheese? What the?
What
What's
the?
the deal?
Who knows? These new ones, they're all the same.
This one feels especially cheesy.
Oh my fucking god. All these puns. I like it. The game's not too quiet, right? I can turn it up a bit. If it's too quiet.
Let's head back to the Union and report to Lifty.
Never took you for the by-the-book guy.
Me neither. But what else are we going to do? Stand here like a couple of boobs?
I mean...
What? I'll turn it up just a tad, because I think it is a bit. There we go.
It all started a couple of days ago. I just got released from the hospital after 2 weeks of intensive care. I got messed up bad. And by her, of all people. Betty was always on the emotional side. And when her blood gets to boiling, all hell breaks loose. It's what I really liked about her. The bullet grazed my left ear, the doctor said, and if it weren't for the fall, I would have gotten away unscathed. But then, I wouldn't have learned anything. She tried to do me in. That much is clear. I can't really hold it against her. Not after what I did. And I'd rather have her do it than some lowlife down at the docks. No point in crying about it, really. No point in doing anything at all anymore, I thought. Amber pulled me out of it for a while. Made me take on this case. I guess it's better than doing nothing. I have to keep my mind busy. When I'm left alone, I tend to languish. Anyways, this case, it's all sorts of wrong. Someone is hell-bent on taking all the tin heads out of commission. Parts are being left behind in dark alleys. Mouths are being kept shut, and blind eyes are being turned. Lifty Workowski of the Robot Union. Odd broad. She was the one who called us. I guess having all them robots missing is starting to reel in some real bad rap. After this last guy, Robbie, disappeared, we went snooping around his place for a bit. There was nothing out of the ordinary, but we found this ticket stub in one of his jackets. Not much of a lead, but it was the only one we had. Amber was supposed to meet me at the cinema, but she was a no-show. Flint's a good kid. I have nothing against him, but we never spent all that much time together. Seeing as all the women in my life decided to collectively quit, I guess this is as good a time as any. I just hope the kid won't slow me down too much.
Well, you sure slowed us down back there.
I'm shorter than you, goddammit. I can't walk as fast.
Well, maybe if you would pick up the pace a little, I wouldn't need to wait
Pick
on
up
you.
the pace.
It's always something
It's not.
with you, isn't
It's
it?
not all about the
It's always
step
someone
size,
else's
kid.
fault when things
I'm
don't
shorter,
go your
and therefore
way.
have shorter steps. It's basic physics. What are you?
Hey!
You could have walked
Hey,
a bit
what
slower,
the
is all
hell?
I'm saying.
Who's this kid now?
This is Doug. Dougie. He sells insurance.
Name's Flint, ma'am.
Ted, how many of these kids do you intend to put in peril? Is the girl dead already?
She's fine. He's stepping in for a bit. Listen, we were at the cinema just now. We found a ticket stub in Robbie's jacket.
I imagine so. The union had a meeting at the Lux that night.
And you thought now was a good time to mention this? You're a real piece of work, you know that.
Oh, careful you don't fall off that high horse, Bear. You seem fond of falling lately.
Fine. Whatever. Anyways, there was another one tonight.
You ruined another bar owner with your excessive debt?
Rossum Heel, the old guy who sells tickets. Know him?
Yeah, but...
He went missing tonight.
Holy motherboard! Ted, you need to do something. This is starting to look really bad.
Yeah, starting to anyways. Wanted to let you know you're off the paper daily. Robbie worked there, right?
He was an accountant there. Go, you two. Get there fast.
As fast as our feet will carry us.
Which in his case, turns out it's not that fast.
Don't you own a car? You're like 40.
A car. He barely owned a pair of pants.
I like this kid. Where did you find him?
He was on sale down at Stupid Kids Depot. Want him?
I'm all set. Get out of my office, Bear. And next time, show me some results.
Yeah. See you around.
Bye, Miss Warkowski.
Take care, kid.
What the fuck, man? The game's great already.
Hey, Sam.
Ted, you're healing up nicely.
Only on the outside.
I went to see you at the PC General. You're out cold, though.
That morphine, let me tell you. Literally the only good thing about that place.
Yeah, plus all the healthcare.
Sure, if you're into that sort of thing. Listen, Sam, I didn't come here to reminisce.
Right. You're here because of Robbie.
How could you know that already?
It's his job, kid. There's a saying in Paper City. When in doubt, ask Blabbermouth.
There's a saying like that?
No, I just made it up.
Catchy.
I thought no one would be here this late.
You mean OCD? He's always here.
I'd rather if he wasn't.
Why? You plan on doing something shady?
Only if you consider breaking and entering shady.
Go ahead. OCD's arranging tomorrow's print. I'll cover for you.
Thanks, Sam. I owe you one.
You owe me more than one, Bear. I keep a tab.
You, lowlife. I missed you.
Good thing Betty's not a great shot, buddy. It's nice to have you around.
Look at that, kid. What a view.
It's really something.
What?
Wait, you're looking down at the Silverstones pub.
Ah, best carrot ale in the city. And like the rudest waitresses. My kind of place.
Holy sheets of paper, Bear Man.
Oh my god, he said it now.
It's one of the daily editors, OCD.
Wow, he's really thorough.
I guess you could call it that. Hey there.
I don't have time for your shenanigans, Bear.
Point taken. Hey there. Point taken.
It's filled with small clippings and pictures.
He's arranging tomorrow's print, or making a scrapbook. Hey, there's a typo on this one.
What are you doing, Ted? Now I need to do it all over again.
Have fun.
Wrecked. Why is that
You
surfboard?
kids, with your skateboards and whatnot.
That's a surfboard.
I know what it is. I said whatnot.
Need anything, Tedski?
See if they have rubbing carrot juice.
Retired Police Captain Rob's old police station. Sitting man stands up for himself.
Wow. Wait, is this the exit? I think this is the exit. It is. What's the other door? Counting office.
So many Papers.
It's only paperwork, kid. No need to waste our best years.
Okay, so what are we looking for?
Something out of place.
Like...
I don't know. Something, god damn it. Do what your sister would have done. Detect.
Fine.
And don't give me that attitude. You wanted to help. Now help.
I said fine. I'll look around or whatever.
Let.
Don't even think about it. I'm not carrying you around.
I'm sure the one bottle can't hurt the bear.
This diploma is a bit crooked.
That's odd.
Why?
Who in the hell puts a financial accounting diploma on their wall?
It's got hinges on one side.
Wait, what?
Yeah, so I guess it's some kind of hidden safe.
Most
What?
likely. Look around. There's got to be some way to open it.
What? Oh. I already found the thing we were supposed to look for.
Just looking at these gives me a headache. There's a page in here. It's covered in a bunch of numbers.
Huh, sounds about right. Anything worth looking at?
I really have no idea.
Huh, indeed. I already found the thing we was supposed to find. What the?
The 28th of November is circled. It just says meeting.
It's that union meeting they had at the Lux.
Oh, that's right. The 18th of October was also circled. It has a little heart next to it. And...
Okay, I get it. Robbie's life is full of various meetings and excitement.
well, was.
Don't jump to any conclusions just yet, kid.
How many filing drawers do you need, Robbie?
I was thinking the same thing.
What? Oh no.
What?
It's a noose.
I mean, we've all been there.
I'll take it. Feels like I'm doing him a favor.
There's even newspapers in the window.
What is it with cardboard boxes in this city?
Oh, touch the diploma. See what happens.
Nah, I'm not an accountant.
Hey, what is this? Oh, that takes that. What, is he going to talk with him again?
I've got some news, Ted.
I mean,
What happened?
this is a newsroom.
What happened?
Robbie, they found some of his parts down by the river.
Great. That's great. Come on. You know what I mean. Not great, obviously, but it'll give me something to work with.
Are you heading there now? I can't just leave yet, and I need to confirm this lead.
Yeah. Don't worry. I'll let you know if I find something.
Holy sheets of paper,
Oh my god, he
man.
said it again.
You're still here, Ted? Time to factor with these things, and someone else gets there first.
I know. We're on our way.
It's Sam Blabbermouth Murphy, famous and unrelenting PC journalist.
You're still here, Ted? Time to factor with these...
I know.
When I get back in the room. The missable trophy here?
Hey, there's a typo on this one.
What are you doing, Ted? Now I need to do it all over again.
Have fun.
What does it does it have something to do with the thing? The safe? I can't go back in the room again. Oh, with OCD.
No, that doesn't need...
That doesn't need screws.
No, that won't work.
Oh, there you go. Now.
Hey there.
I don't have time for your shenanigans.
Point two.
What if I mess with this again?
Hey, there's a typo on this one.
What are you doing, Ted? Now I need to do it all over again.
Have fun.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Wow, I can just click and then he moves. Oh.
It's this very building, only it's an old photo. Everything is still in black and white.
I'd do anything with this.
Nah. Nah, I'm not.
I guess not.
Check that thing out, will you?
Why?
It stands out.
How does a pencil sharpener stand? Hey, you're right. It's not a pencil sharpener at all. How did you know?
Do you see any pencils around? All these papers were typed.
Well, when you put it like that,
So,
point.
what is it?
it's some sort of scanner or something.
Fingerprint.
Could be. Most likely, yes.
Touch it.
No, I'm as sharp as it is.
Smack it.
Nah, I need to. No, that does. I'll keep this a bit longer. There's a page in here. It's covered in a bunch of numbers. There's a page.
Oh my god.
Holy sheets of paper.
Oh my god, shut up. Shut up with that.
It's one of the day editors.
Wow, he's really. I'll keep this a bit long. No, that. Nah.
Oh, whatever, it's fine.
Cooler than what? Nah, I'm fine. I don't want to waste imaginary water.
Fine, if we miss a trophy, okay with me.
I've seen these things around town. Never understood what they are.
It's a starter capacitor.
A what?
A starter capacitor. It helps to start up the motor.
When did you get so smart?
I like this sort of stuff.
I don't mind missing trophies
If I just
since
take it, the editor will notice. I need to replace it with something.
it's just first playthrough. Casual first playthroughs. I don't mind if we miss anything. Any trophy related stuff.
If I just take it, the editor will notice. I need to replace it with something. No.
Replace it with this?
Nah.
Replace it with the scrap?
No, that doesn't. I'll keep.
I'm out of here. Go to that other place. A rat. Rash.
Poor Mr. Eeks. Oh, my lord. What a tragedy. Such a mishap. Misfortune. Such a...
Malady?
Hey, Eeks. Why so blue?
Ted, my friend, is that really you? Can you smell it, Bear?
Yeah, I think there's something down there.
It's my camembert.
You lost your cheese?
Kid, please.
Yes, boy. It rolled down the levee.
You lost
Get it
your
yourself,
cheese?
Because it's just too darn heavy?
Listen, you wouldn't happen to know anything about some robot. He was seen around here.
You mean that tin head who just recently disappeared?
Robbie, that's the one. Is he around?
I think the poor guy might have drowned. He's down there by the riverbank, Ted, but I honestly think he might be dead.
He's
Well,
down
he's
there
a
with your
robot, Eeks.
cheese?
It takes a lot to take them out.
No doubt.
Ted, we need to see what this is all about.
Okay, please. Enough with the prose.
Ted had it up to his nose.
We need to get down there, somehow. And we'll get your cheese, too, while we're at it. Don't worry,
I
buddy.
will get you cheese too.
All the blessings to you, Snoop. You two go ahead. I need to go.
Let's go faster, Ted.
We'll be right back, Ratch.
Does he speak exclusively in rhymes?
Well, he is a poet, and he does seem to know it.
Doesn't seem to be a good one.
What gave it away? The homelessness. Anyways, you need to get down there.
Me?
Who else? Eeks? He's like 100.
What about you?
Closer to 45. Kid, we don't have all night. We need to get you down there.
Fine, whatever. What's the name of that bridge again?
St. Florian's Bridge. It's the popular jumping spot.
Oh. Keep getting spotted, oh no. You trying to do a stealth heist?
The cradle of Paper City.
And, for many of its residents, the final resting place.
The paint that was left behind.
It's mostly taupe.
Or, whatever. I'll take it with me. Maybe I'll get inspired.
I'm gonna do the paint. You mean laps? Oh man. I don't think I ever made it that far myself.
It's just dirt.
It's just dirt.
It's just dirt. For, driving heavy stuff around.
That's all it's for.
An old homeless poet, Mr. Eeks. Wow, it's a nice view from up here.
It sure is. Are you a sightseer?
Nah, I just wanted to be polite.
Well, all right.
It's a brick. House. That home stacked, and that's a fact.
What?
It's Eeks' plank. He's very protective of it.
Hey, that belongs to me. Leave it be.
The warmth feels nice.
Oh man, Zito. But also, that sounds sick. You have to do sync kills. Sounds sick, but the fucking pain in the ass in random public matches without communications. Yeah, exactly. It sucks when you're not talking or communicating with the people you're playing with. The fucking pain in the ass, man. Well, maybe it's a good thing I never made it that far to that heist.
Mind the gap.
You mind the gap.
I'm just reading the sign.
Oh, right. Well, mind it then. It's a steep cliff. Well, it looks like there's fall damage.
Also, the hint is kind of blatant.
Fall damage.
Just don't jump down, is what I'm trying to say.
Wait, what do you say?
The cradle of Paper City.
And, well,
Also, the hint is kind of blatant.
come on. I know a misdirect when I see one. Come on.
I'm gonna do with a bucket of paint. Can I combine this?
No, that won't work.
Okay.
I'll keep this a bit longer.
No,
You never know.
I didn't mean to do that.
I don't want to paint that. That's fine as it is.
Why not? No, why do I still have the paint can equipped? Oh,
I
whatever.
don't want to paint. It's a hole in the ground.
You're observant.
I mean, what's there to say?
Maybe we could bury the stanchion here to serve as a climbing anchor. We'd get down to the lower bank then.
That's pretty smart.
This could work.
Why would we not use the rope here?
I don't want.
What do you have to
It's
do?
just dirt.
You have to do,
It's just-
do you have to do this first?
I'll just take it. Hope no one will miss it.
Nice shovel now. 15 minutes later.
What?
I mean, you didn't have to throw the shovel into the river.
Why not?
We might need
What
it
the
again.
fuck, yeah?
Nah, we won't.
How do you know? Vandalism. Polluting with the shovel.
Nice, I got the climbing rope. As opposed to, well, a hanging rope.
Oh boy.
Okay, that's his
him?
cheese.
Used to be.
What do you think happened?
I don't know. You need to get him out.
Any ideas?
Not at the moment.
Hey, on the plus side, there's the cheese.
Yeah. There it is. All our troubles are over now.
I can't reach it.
Just forget about the cheese.
Oh no! Dad, please!
No, I didn't mean it like that. Eeks.
Oh my god.
Robbie's legs.
It's that poor guy's legs. The rest of him is all over the bank. They're really stuck. I need to think this through. Heavy duty tire for trucks and or SUVs. It's torn though. It's an old rusty bucket. I'll take it. You never know.
How am I gonna do with the bucket?
It's Eeks' cheese. It looks really heavy. I can't reach it. It's Robbie's throwing arm. I'll pick it up. Maybe it'll come in handy.
Did you just say that again? Maybe it'll come in handy as he picks up his arm.
This rope?
That hand.
I could use it somehow. It's too high. If I stack some things onto this tire, maybe I'd be able to reach the rope. The cradle of Paper City. Is that his finger? I'll take it with me. It reminds me of something I've seen earlier.
Combine the buckets.
I don't want to paint that.
Oh,
That's fine as it is. Never waste a good bucket is what I always.
Oh, get over here. Can I use the bucket to reach the cheese?
Never waste a good bucket.
No.
The cradle of paper.
Nope.
Some of the parts got stuck in the river. I can't reach them from here. I can't get close.
I combine this.
I shouldn't waste it. Good finger is hard to come by.
Yeah, true.
It's too high. If I stack some things onto this tire...
Oh, onto the tire. There we go.
I could probably reach the other end of the rope now. Top of the world, Ma. My weight alone won't work, though. I need something else.
What, the bear? The trees? His arm?
I don't want to waste it.
No, it's the paint bucket.
There, now I just
Wow,
need to
it
pull
is
on
the paint bucket. Oh my god.
That's a good idea, but something's still missing.
What, this?
No, that doesn't...
Wait. Club fly? No, it's
I'll
not right.
keep this a... I don't want... That's it. Now all I need is to pull on the legs. That's a good idea.
Wait, you want me to find his legs?
I don't want... I shouldn't... That's it. Now all I need is to pull on the legs.
Get down. Wait, what?
I can't... They're really stuck. I need to think this through. It's icky and sticky and, well, it's mud.
Now, if only we still had that shovel. What a shame the bear threw it into the river. Anything else I missed?
This could work, actually. I could use this to pull him out.
Oh, there you go. That's how we get the legs out.
Got him. I got the legs.
When can I get the cheese?
No, they belong to...
We assume.
Oh. What? Why did you say that? Where even are you?
I can't get close.
I can actually use the touchpad for this. Can I combine all of this?
No, they belong to Robbie.
We assume.
Some of the parts got stuck in the river. I could use this to get closer. I could use this...
What, do we use the flyer here to stand on?
I'll keep this a bit long.
Oh,
I
what?
could use this to get...
Well, then move out there.
I don't...
Maybe there's something new up here. Maybe I need the plank. Maybe I can ask him about the plank. Convince him.
Hey, kid. You got it?
Got what? The super heavy rust and mud covered robot? No, Ted, I don't have it.
Well, what's the holdup?
I mean,
My dear boy, did you find my...
geez. Yeah, it's down there, but I can't reach it. I thought maybe I could use your cane.
Oh, yes, yes. No need to explain. Here you go, son. Just bring it back as soon as you're done.
I need that plank over there, too.
Oh, you do?
Yes. Some of the parts are stuck in the river. I need to get close.
And there's nothing else of use but my plank, I suppose?
That's what I just said.
Okay, how about you go and get my cheese first instead?
Okay, fine, but I'll need that plank.
Yes, yes. Now off with you, down that riverbank.
He's gonna run off with this cheese and plank when we come back. You know, we could use this too. This random fins, piece of fins or whatever this is. Could use that too, you know. As a plank. Well, now time to get this rat cheese.
There, I got it. I got the stupid cheese.
Cheese. Oh. Shame we can't say anything about the cheese. Cheese. The stinkiest of cheeses. Here's your cheese, my fine wretch.
Here's your stupid cheese. That thing weighs a ton, by the way.
Hooray! 1,000,001 thanks to you, my boy. You saved the day.
Great. Now, for the actual thing we're here for.
Let me catch my breath, goddammit. It's not a race.
Eeks, about that plank. You made a deal.
Ah, yes. A wooden board in exchange for my cheese wheel. Take it, boy. It's yours. Now you can do even more chores.
Yeah, you hear that? More chores.
You know,
I'm sure I do. Get cracking, kid. We're pressed for time.
lazy good-for-nothing iota.
Hey, no mumbling.
Well, that was easy. To get the plank from him.
Great, I got the piece of wood. It was almost worth the trouble.
Just for a piece of wood, huh? Wait, is he have new dialogue now?
So you two are just butting it up over here? Telling war stories?
Don't you have, like, physical labor to get to?
Yeah.
I'll leave you two alone. Well, I go get the pieces of this dead robot. What?
Great, that worked. I can get closer now. Some of the parts got stuck in the river. I can't... I got it! I got his... ew. Head, I guess.
Nice.
So, we all set?
Yeah, no thanks to you.
Let's not get into the whole who did or didn't do all the work.
So what's next? What?
You see, the thing about tin heads is that they're almost impossible to take out completely.
What do you mean? Is he not dead?
Only in the sense of him not being alive anymore.
Well, how do we...
We? Do I look like a roboticist to you? No, kid. We need to get him to Fixie Mender.
Who?
A friend of mine. And as luck would have it, She's also the best mechanic this side of the Dredge River.
Pretty convenient. And she can fix him?
Hopefully. See you around, Eeks.
Yeah, enjoy your cheese and planks and whatnot.
Thank you, boys. And you have fun advancing the plot.
Thanks, man. Thanks, Mr. Ratch.
Nah, let him enjoy his cheese. We did him a service. How does it feel to do good?
It feels like chronic backing.
It sure does.
All the way down here? Wait, is this the place? Use the car shop? I guess it is.
Oh, stupid later. Just my luck.
Hi there. Is this the new hair salon everyone's been telling me about?
Well, I'll be damned. You're still among the living?
You seem surprised.
Last I heard, Betty did you in.
Nah, I mean, she tried. Bless her heart.
Actresses. If it were me, you'd be hanging upside down with stuffing coming out your mouth.
Your husband's a lucky guy, Fix.
My husband knows better than to do what you did. She cared about you, scumbag.
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah. Aye. Let me guess. You need my help.
Help is such a strong word.
Well, you see, I can't seem to get my lighter to work. And if I don't have a smoke soon, you'll get to experience what I was just talking about just now.
About you hanging upside down?
The kid gets it. Wait, you're not... How's this dashing young man, Ted?
That's Barney Darney. He's a carny.
Name's Flint, ma'am.
Nice to meet you, Flint. I'm Fixie. Now, if you two don't want for the three of us to be in the papers tomorrow, go and fetch some gas for me later.
Do I look?
Shut your booze hole and get me some goddamn gasoline, Ted, okay?
Jeez, fine. But don't get used to this.
Check the junkyard. There's bound to be some there.
Such elite detective work. Finding gas for this lady's lighter.
Good
Only
old
the
Lefty
finest.
Crowbar.
Also known as the knee adjuster.
Only the finest the detectives could do this case. The knee adjuster. That's actually a pretty good name for the crowbar.
I'll just pick this up.
Sure, someone may trip over it.
Sure, that's why I'm picking it up.
Oh wow, it's a 1930 Fork Model A?
You know your boilers, kid.
A 1934 Fork Model 40. Now that's a car.
It is what it is.
And what, put some motor oil in my pockets?
Yeah, why not?
I'm guessing it's filled with oil.
What makes you say that?
Found the gasoline yet?
We're getting to it.
You're killing me here, Bear.
Man, there's sure an abundance of tires around here.
I was thinking the same thing. Fixie's Chrome Eldorado. It's so blown up.
It's a tough game, dealership. You gotta stand out, you know.
Junkyard. Is that where she told us to go?
Hey, where do you think you're going?
Yeah, it's the junkyard.
Okay, sport. We're alone now. What's eating you?
What? What do you mean?
You're less talkative than usual, and mostly you seem anxious. What's the deal? Does it have to do with your sister?
Yes, no. I mean, why does it matter?
I can't have you moping around like that while we're on this case. I need you to focus, and you can't do that if you're somewhere else.
I'll try. Can we just let it go for now?
Fine. Let's just find some gasoline, okay?
Sure. I wonder if there's some gas left inside.
Probably not.
Oh,
Little
wow.
bastard.
So there it is.
There it is. She could get good money for it.
You don't sell a thing like that.
Who's sleeping?
Can't go wrong with a set of cables, I always say.
You say that?
I mean, when there's an opportunity.
Of course. Say that on the daily, right?
I wonder if it's fully loaded.
Or if there's a diamond in the tank.
Wait, it's that car. Herbie. Oh, whatever the car's called. I forget. It's not sleeping. It's a car.
It's a rubber hose.
Of some kind.
I'll take it. We could use this for the gas. It's Fixie's cat. I guess.
That's Furiosa, kid. She's as mean as they come.
Furious.
I have no use for a cat.
Does anyone?
What? There really is gasoline in that broken car?
It's a starter capacitor, but it seems to be broken.
Oh, that's what we need for the thing at the station.
I'll take it. You never know.
This one. Oh, no, not that.
There. This should work. All I need is the canister.
Yeah, that we don't have. Yeah, no, this is no use for this.
I don't want to...
Yeah, we don't got the buckets. Hippie
Like
man.
Zoink Snoop?
What?
Nothing.
Is that a reference of some kind?
Nah, forget about it. Want a snack?
Snack? What the hell are you talking about?
Gearhead, Pog, Scooby-Doo reference. The mystery van. You know, I ain't got nothing to put the gasoline in. What is he doing?
I have no use for a cat.
Does anyone?
A huge magnet used for moving car wrecks around?
Very random to point that out, but yeah. You got it. Why is that like a flamethrower here? Is it where she is? Can I bring the entire oil drum with me? Nah, we already clicked on that.
And what, put some motor oil in my pockets?
Fixie Mender, the best mechanic in the city.
Hold on, I'll be back. You keep hitting your lighter. I'm gonna go do this before I forget.
I can't do it right now. He's looking this way.
Mess with him.
Hey, there's a typo on this one.
What are you doing, Ted? Now I need to do it all over again.
Have fun.
Correct.
Alright, I got it. Caca!
What the?
What are you up to, Bear?
Just admiring your work.
Admire it tomorrow morning. I'm busy.
What? What am I gonna use that for? Wait, what is this that I picked up? Set of cables. Wait.
That doesn't need cables.
What is this? Energy capacitor. Oh, we probably need that for when we need to repair the robot. Yeah. But that still doesn't fix my bucket up issue thing.
I wonder if there's some gas left inside.
There is. But we've got. Can I store it in him?
No, that seems a bit grim.
Waterboarding him with gasoline. You're already dead, robot. Oh, I was right here. Empty canister.
I can't. It's stuck under this pile. There, I got it unstuck.
Nice. Why did he not pick it up? What the fuck? No, he didn't pick it up.
I could use an empty canister. I'll take it with me. There, it's just filling up by itself.
I guess they didn't plan this in the animation budget, but fine. Let's head back.
This bag keeps breaking the fourth wall, man. Oh, I guess you should have that in the animation budget. Yeah, yep. Nice. I hit an entire fucking jerry can of gasoline for you, madam.
We found some gasoline, ma'am.
You're a lifesaver, kid.
What? She just drinks it?
So, now that we support your
okay.
habit, maybe we can talk.
What's on your mind? Wait, does this have anything to do with the missing tin heads?
It does?
I already talked to the cops, Ted. I don't know anything about that.
It's not. We need your mechanical know-how.
What did you do?
We found Robbie. Ted thinks you can fix him.
What? Ted, are you insane?
That's my suspicion.
You can't bring him here. Take him to the hospital.
No, I need to talk to him before the police do.
I could get into a lot of trouble for this, Bear.
Yeah, well, I knew a girl once. She was all about getting into trouble.
That was a different time, Ted.
Listen, I need your help. We have the poor guy here. I really need to find out what he knows.
I can't.
We can stop further kidnappings, Fix.
Please, ma'am.
Oh, I can't say no to that pretty face.
Thanks. I would blush, but I'm monochromatic.
I was talking to the kid, you goon.
I know.
Here, I've opened my repair shop. Take him there.
You're a doll. I owe you one.
Aye, aye, shut up and get him on the workbench. I'll have a look at him. Okay, what did you find?
It's his outer shell. Most of the internal components are missing.
Well, well, kid. Looks and brains. Give us ladies a chance at least.
Okay. Can you fix him?
Maybe. But right off the bat, I can tell you he's missing some things.
A warm companion.
Here's the blueprint, funny guy. You get around, don't ya? Now get around to doing something constructive.
You heard the lady, son. Let's get to walking around some more.
I'll show you, lady.
Well, we already got the capacitor. I need another set of cables. Another set of cables, glass eyes, relay, and a M what? Oh, M hat.
Oh, Carrot Series 62, I believe. It's a beautiful car.
Sure is.
Oh, well, there's the other set of cables. That was easy.
What?
You haven't
What?
aged a day.
Oh, shut up. What?
You haven't aged a day.
Oh, shut up.
Big C's workbench. It's where the magic happens. A can of motor oil. I'll take it. It seems Fixie has more than enough.
That's solid reasoning.
Yeah, sure.
We can put Robbie's parts here. Fixie will put him together.
Tools.
Mechanics have to have their tools.
I'll just put him here now. Yeah.
Okay, he's got legs.
He can aspire to become a dancer yet again.
Very true. Bear.
There you go, buddy. You'll be right as rain in no time.
Yeah. Keep your head up, you know.
Oh my god. His fingers.
All right, he's armed.
Oh my god.
It's bent.
Nah, it's fine. Fixie will attach it later. Right, Fix?
But you give it to her?
I shouldn't waste it.
Gotta wait with that then.
That doesn't need cables.
Really?
Nice, it fits.
Whatever it is.
Don't worry about it. That doesn't need cables.
Oh, get the other set. Then we just need the goggles,
We need these for Robbie.
the thing for his brain, and then another thing, but I already forgot. Can I look at that again? Probably not. I should take a photo of it.
Cool. He'll be able to see now,
Eyesight is neat.
right?
What? Did that say gas canister?
It's used for welding, I suppose.
These guys really knew how to bop, let me tell ya.
Robot hat.
It's the music machine, whatchamacallit.
A jukebox.
That's what I meant.
Roll bear. Ah, there you go. Yeah, I need the goggles. Oh, this was like a relay and then the M what? Where the fuck am I gonna find that? What do we got? Can I give this to the chameleon?
That doesn't need oil.
Oh, this guy left.
Staggering scandal. Scrupulous senator spotting stealing several small silver statuettes. Sources say. Dissociative identity disorder patient shoots himself over a dispute. Dissociative. Milk. Got any? Why dairy farms are closing down.
What?
Flint and Ted solved a case. You'll never believe what they found out.
Wait, you still have the crowbar, right? Oh yeah, maybe we go use that in here. And the diploma.
A good crowbar is a terrible thing to waste.
Really, that's not for that. Wait, do we use the finger here? Oh yeah.
It was a fingerprint scanner after all.
The safe opened up. Have a look, will you?
Well, there's the M what? M hat.
I'll take it with me. According to the blueprint, Robbie needs this.
How convenient he had that in his safe. How awfully convenient.
Cool lamp.
What's cool about it?
I just think it's neat. It says, always check for sapling errors.
Definitely errors, spelling errors. Nice.
Broad suits co-worker over sexist remarks. Retired police captain robs old police station.
What the hell? Am I gonna find it? The two other parts. Can I go ask the cat about something now? Oh wait, does he have the eyeballs? I think he might have the eyeballs that I need.
I have no use for a cat.
Does anyone?
He sure does.
Hey, it's the glass eye covers we need for Robbie. Jeez, what the?
What the?
Seems she's in a bad mood. More so than usual.
Her front leg is creaking. Maybe that's why.
Oh, you're the one that needs the oil. Here you go.
There you go.
I
This
think
should
she
do the
fell
trick.
asleep.
Now's your chance.
I'll take these now that she's gone.
Still there, but okay.
I have no use.
Does anyone?
It's Fixie's cat. I guess.
That's Furiosa, kid.
Now where do we get the last piece? It's suspicious. There's just a flamethrower right there. That we can't do anything with. What do we have? We have the eyeball. Still have the crowbar.
A good crowbar is
There's no way I have to use this on the car.
a good crow.
What is this? Screws and bolt. Oh.
No, that. Here's your, I'm guessing, eyeballs? Okay, this is probably the most important one.
How do you figure?
It's for his memory.
There. That's all of him. Can you fix the guy?
You're still missing something, cowboy.
Yeah, we're still missing one.
But it might be a little harder to get.
What?
A ratchet relay.
Can't you just fix him without it? I just need him to talk, not dance around.
Are you serious?
No, of course not.
Where can we find one?
It's your guess as well as mine, kid. There's a shortage on the market. However, there might be some available on the other market. If you catch my drift.
That's great. Prepare to hang around some really creepy people, kid.
Why are we going to your birdwatching club?
Ha ha, very funny. No, we're going to the Jungle Jazz Bar.
I mean, of course it's a bar.
See you in a little while, doll.
Bye, Miss Fixie.
Bye, handsome.
I'm glad I didn't wander around for like an hour trying to find that last piece. That actually went back in and put the thing together. Otherwise we never would have advanced. Is that a fish? Shady guys.
Wow, all these guys look really shady.
Yeah, just don't make eye contact.
They really are shady, huh?
It's a payphone. Looks functional.
These guys seem, at least fellows, they seem a bit fishy.
Harold Mackerel and Barry Barracuda. Two lowlifes connected to the paper city's black market. Boy, when they told me there's other fish in the sea, I hoped they didn't mean you two.
That keeps getting funnier every time, Snoop.
Hey, comedy comes in threes.
Then you should have stopped saying that 40 attempts ago.
This is nice, right? The four of us, back together again.
I've literally never seen this kid in my life.
This is Gus Awesome, England's best spy in the world.
Sure, why not? We need some information.
Yeah, whatever. Listen, we're in a good mood.
So, to keep it that way, I think it's best for you two to scram.
Yeah, shoo. Good one, Bear.
Thought so. Wise guys. That'll be 25 cents for local calls.
What the hell would it be called?
It's locked. They're setting up for a concert.
Is this the currency? Can I pay them?
No, that doesn't.
What's this, Bear?
This? Oh, it's nothing. Just something that may or may not incriminate you in regards to the recent series of robot kidnappings.
I bet there's a matching coupon in your coat.
For a nice, cold Southside fizz. It expires today, right?
Okay, what do you two want?
Little birdie told us you might know someone.
Keep your bird-watching nonsense to yourself, Bear.
That's not even
Okay, enough with
He's
the
actually a bird
We're looking
watcher.
for a ratchet relay.
What the?
what he said.
Yeah? Join the club, Gus. There's a shortage these days.
I mean, a luminarium might have some still.
Oh yeah, go ask Skinner. I'm sure he's in a charitable mood, given the season.
Yeah, charitable.
Right?
Illuminarium?
I should have thought of that.
Yeah, you shoulda.
Man, Betty must have messed you up something fierce.
Okay, we're done here.
Oh, just when it was about to get all personal.
We'll catch you two idiots later.
Ooh, foreshadowing.
Hey, give our regards to the missus.
Boy, everyone's really letting you have it with the whole Betty thing. What happened there?
I'm not getting into this right now.
Fine. What's Illuminarium?
Paper City's industrial light manufacturer.
Well, they ought to have some relays.
My thought exactly. But their CEO is a tough nut kid. Just let me do all the talking.
You've literally been doing all the talking this whole time.
Okay, good, so you're familiar with the concept. Let's go.
Let's roll. What? We're already in his office?
The window is overlooking the factory floor.
It's actually pretty standard practice.
What the hell is that thing?
That's an overpriced piece of marble, kid. It's all the rage among snobbish rich people.
Wow, you can really feel the lack of fulfillment that comes with that purchase.
I know.
What the hell is that thing?
That's an overpriced...
Oh wait, that's
I
the
know.
thing I clicked on. What was the lamp? Odd?
It's a piece of art, I guess?
Oh yeah, geometry is now art, apparently.
I bet Amber would love this.
Nah, she knows art. She has a good eye and some taste, actually. Don't tell her I told you that.
Art. A few triangles and circles
Oh, that's a nice
on the
lamp.
canvas.
Looks expensive.
It's the lighting display.
Are they functional?
They don't have any relays attached, if that's what you mean.
Yeah, okay.
It's just a bunch of papers. I doubt he would hide anything remotely suspicious in there.
Yeah, it'd be too obvious. Art liquor.
God damn it. It's like I'm being tested at every step.
Oh my god!
What the? Smiley Skinner, I presume.
It's the lawman. Gentlemen, keep it short. I'm somewhat in a hurry.
Leaving the country.
There it is, Ted's famous wit. Even though we've never had the pleasure, Ted, I'm afraid your infamy precede you.
You and me both, pal. Let's get right to the brass tacks. We need a ratchet relay, and it seems there's a shortage these days.
You're well informed, Ted.
You seem to be doing just fine in that department. How come?
Now, gentlemen. I wouldn't be much of a CEO if I was just to give away company secrets.
Your company's secrets are what we call reasonable suspicion.
And what am I being suspect of? Running a successful business in the post-war depression?
How about robot kidnappings? Heard about that?
Ah, yes, nasty business. However, as I already told the real police, I don't know anything about that.
Hear that, kid? The real police. How could you tell? Did they have mustard stains on their badges?
Gentlemen, I'm afraid this is all the time I could spare. Just as an expression of goodwill, I'll tell you this. We get the relays from our reserves.
Reserves?
We buy them in bulks, so there's some left still. But hopefully this shortage won't last past this winter.
Sure.
Gentlemen, now if you'll excuse me...
You're excused, Smiley.
Could we bother you for one such relay?
I'm afraid that's out of the question. There's a shortage after all.
Of course. Well, we had to try.
Okay, so now what?
He's acting off.
Right, like he can't spare one relay?
That is strange. Also, there was an interesting piece of paper on his desk.
What kind of paper?
I'm not sure yet. Let's go back to the Union. I need to speak to that copper crone again.
No, beat him up with the crowbar. What if I go back there? Oh wait, no, there's no way I want to go. I subconsciously went here even though I didn't want to go here.
They say that hyperinflation is inevitable. Apparently, it's common in post-war economy.
That's fine.
About the case? Any news about the case?
Oh, right. We found Robbie.
Robertson? Holy motherboard. Is he okay?
Yeah. No. He's pretty dismantled right now.
But how?
It's fine. We can fix him. We're missing a single component, though.
What is it?
Kid.
A ratchet relay.
Oh, but there's a shortage these days.
You think? Anyways, we found someone who might have some still. But he wasn't really cooperative.
Skinner?
Oh, so you know Smiley.
That heartless scumbag. He wouldn't spare a light bulb to save his own son. Ugh.
We're kind of stuck here. If we get the thing, the hatchet.
Ratchet relay.
Relay. Thanks, kid. We can get valuable information. We could close the case.
Well, what are you waiting for? Go get it!
That might require some breaking in.
I seriously don't care. Just get the relay. Ted.
Okay. No need to blow a fuse.
Get the thing, solve the case.
Bye, Miss Lifton.
Get out.
Sheesh. See what I mean? Let's go, kid. There's a bar downtown we have to visit first.
Of course there is.
What does that have to do with the case? Bear just wants a little drink.
What'll it be, boys?
The usual, Jay.
I'll have the same.
No, he won't. Give him a lemonade.
Aye, coming right up.
Oof. Tough night. Kid.
Okay, I gotta ask now. What's the deal with, Betty?
Oh boy.
Fine. All right. There's this young actress, Betty. She and I, we were an item.
So what happened?
Something idiots like me tend to do, kid. I messed up.
Can't you, apologize?
Not this time. You'll get it when you're a bit older.
You care for her.
I did. But that's all over with.
Is it? You're having a hard time with this case. You seem absent-minded.
Yeah. Well, so do you. And since we're sharing, mind telling me what the hell is going on now?
Where's the little lassie, Bear? I haven't seen her in a while.
Yeah, kid. Where is your sister?
She's fine.
Well, you see, you keep saying that.
She had to go to the hospital, right? There. Can we drop it now?
What? Why? What's wrong?
She secretly ate one of the cookies from my batch, and my mom and dad had to take her to the hospital.
What the hell? You could have told me that.
I'm so sorry.
I mean, it's fine. Is she...
It's not fine, Ted. She's really sick, and it's all my fault.
Kid, she had an allergic reaction. It's not your fault.
But it is okay. We got into a fight before bedtime about the cookies, and I dared her to eat one.
Hey, now, come on. Kids, they do stupid things like this all the time. Right, Jay?
Also, some adults I know.
Okay, you're making this worse. The point is, everyone makes their own choices. And sure, sometimes there might be a nudge from someone else. But in the end, it all comes down to what you'll decide. No one can do that for you.
It was so scary, Bear. She couldn't breathe, and I just stood there. I didn't know what to do.
Don't worry, kid. Amber's tough. She'll be fine. She went through this once before, remember? I get it now. You're waiting for them to come back. That's why you're here.
I didn't know what to do, so I thought I'd help her out with the case while I wait, I thought...
It was something to do, right?
I can't stand the waiting.
I get it. But don't be so hard on yourself. The fact that you're bothered so much by it really shows that you genuinely care for your sister. Right, Jay?
So you messed up. It happens. Just ask this guy over there.
Mean.
But you seem like a good kid to me.
None of us are perfect, laddie. We all make mistakes.
Or, in other words, we make our own choices, and choices have consequences.
Where a man truly shows who he is how he deals with the choices he's made, good or bad.
That's right. Like right now, you have a choice. You can stay here and hang around with this big-headed oaf, or you can make the right choice and come help me break into the factory.
That doesn't seem like the right choice at all.
I guess it doesn't. But hey, it's something to do, right?
Thanks, Bear.
Thanks for what?
For giving me something to do.
Don't mention it, champ. Now, let's go and steal that relay thing. We have a long night ahead, you and I.
Should I put this on
No
your
time
tab
to
then?
talk, Jay. The kid and I have a case to solve. Just go. Go, kid, go.
Gives us something to do at least. Breaking into a factory, hell yeah. Later that night.
Alright, kid. Here we are.
Here we are.
So, once we get you over that fence and into that factory...
What? Are you insane? These are the latest Cyberus V8 robo-dogs. I'm not going anywhere near them.
Don't forget the searchlight.
Sure. And the searchlight. It'll be like a candlelight dinner to them.
Okay, fine. Maybe not the best idea.
I mean, it's just negligence at this point, Ted.
Alright, fine. Don't worry. We'll figure something out. Hey, what about that car over there?
What about it?
I'm going to ram it into that fence.
What the
I mean,
fuck?
sure, that's as sound as it gets with you.
We need the keys, though.
There's a guardhouse. They could be in there.
Worth a look, at least. Let's go.
But we were supposed to stealth. What kind of idea is that? Hey, see that car? I'm gonna ram that car into the fence.
We need to find a way in.
Why don't you...
One that doesn't include me getting eaten, Ted.
Right.
State-of-the-art chewing machines? I'm not getting close. It reminds me of a hero I know.
The one we don't need right now.
Batman.
Nah, it's in the distance. Dear God, that's terrifying.
The poster child for slave labor.
It's empty. What do they eat anyways?
Unlucky trespassers, I guess.
Do they eat scrap?
I don't need that. I need my hands, though. I mean, why would they have this in front of their own building?
It's all for a better future.
Like it says on the sign.
It's a car of some sort.
What a heap of junk. Even you don't know what it is. I don't have the keys.
State-of-the-art. Whoa.
What is this? The dog factory?
Can't help but notice the lack of fences here.
Yeah, just keep your voice down and don't provoke him.
Good doggy.
There's the key, kid, right behind that guy.
Right there.
We need those keys.
We just need to pass that dog somehow.
Wait, this guy's a V6. He's not a V8 dog.
Yeah, it's not like we have a choice.
Why is that?
He's running unopposed every year.
Oh, well, yeah. Doesn't seem not much of a competition.
It's a guardhouse.
Oh yeah, guard B&B is like it. This is the life.
Guy.
Buddy.
It says Pete on his name tag.
Pete, sure, whatever.
Would have been funny if it said Pete now.
Oh man, I feel uneasy.
Just don't provoke it and we'll be fine. Good doggy.
Wait, I don't have the crowbar, right? Oh, I do. Wait, do I forget the crowbar?
A good crowbar is a...
Do I feed him some bolts?
No, that doesn't need... It's a guardhouse.
Oh yeah, guard.
I don't have to feed him the finger, right?
I shouldn't wait.
Yeah. Hi, doggo.
You and this guy have a lot in common, Ted.
I mean, it's the cheap stuff.
Uh-oh. What, you only drink the expensive stuff?
A good crowbar.
A good crowbar. Use the crowbar on him. I don't know why you would do that.
A good crow. I shouldn't waste.
Yeah, how do we get past you?
Oh man, I feel uneasy.
Just don't provoke.
I need something for the doggo. What the hell, man? Why would we get something for the robot dog?
Would you two get lost already?
Go on! Get lost already!
Thanks, man. Solid convo. Maybe we go back and ask the mechanic lady? I don't know. How would we distract the dog?
Back already? Great. You can take this one with you.
Nah, I just wanted to check on you.
Ted, stop goofing around and sort this out.
Hoping you would tell me how to deal with the robot. The robot doggo.
We can put Robbie's part.
The hell?
A good.
We only have scrap metal, a finger, and a crowbar. I think any of those three is the right item. Yeah. Is the cat still asleep?
I have no use for it.
Sure is. Oh, there's more over here.
It's a streetlight. Not much to say about it, really. It's doing its thing.
Just your average street light, huh? Did I break open the car?
A good crowbar.
What did I was that? I would have used the crowbar on the car.
I don't have the key.
It's a car.
What a heap.
A good state of the. It says keep out.
That's what it says.
That's what it says.
A good.
Oh, it's winding away into the cold, cold night.
Nice.
Right. I should write for a living.
Yep. This detective work doesn't work out, then you can become a writer, Mr. Bear.
We need to find a way in.
Why don't...
One that...
Right.
A good
Just looks at us like, nah. I wouldn't move any closer if I were you.
No, that doesn't. I shouldn't. A good.
This is the life. But
It says
Pete.
Can't I just throw the crowbar? No. Throw the crowbar to distract them. Feels like I'm missing an item. Yeah, because all I have is these three, and well, I've already tried those three and most things. These three just don't make any sense anywhere. Oh, like in this situation right here. What are we missing though? Anything? Yeah, no. I don't think there's anything we can use the crowbar on here. Use that on OCD.
a good crow. Sitting man stands up for himself.
Oh, it's that one. Like, we already got everything worth getting in this room. And no, we already got all the use out of that room. Doesn't it? I think I'm just missing it. Missing it somewhere here. Bear, help me. Can I do anything with this yet?
Alright, this should keep them busy for a while.
Ah, there you go. I didn't think I could do that just yet. I guess he just threw them through the fence, I guess.
That's right. It's my toy now.
There we
Maybe
go.
Don't rub it in their faces.
I knew they had. I knew we had to feed them with that.
I want to hang on to this. I like it.
What? Oh, I somehow clicked on the guardhouse.
Go fetch! Oh no, where'd that car come from?
It was a murdering death robot kid. Let's not lament too long.
All V6, doggo.
I got them, Ted.
I have eyes, kid. Keep it down. Oops. Let me get that real quick and...
Oh my fucking god, you gotta be kidding me. Why did you fucking drop the fucking keys?
Ted,
But
why
Bear?
is your life so farcical?
I wish I knew, kid. It's as if a clown has put a curse on me.
Great. So now what?
Clown.
Okay, so, once you get over that fence and into that factory...
Forget it, Bear. I'm not climbing that fence.
Well, I guess there's only one thing left.
Is it me climbing the fence?
Yeah. No. I mean, no. Okay. We can go and ask Fixie for help.
That Bear with
She can
me?
help us.
Okay.
Damn right it is.
Sure.
It's the
Let's head
infamous
back.
Bear with
But
me.
you deal with
Mr.
her this
Death.
time.
Lion Grit, he won the DBD bingo yesterday, and well, this is the game he picked for us to play today. Here we are. Bear with me.
Ma'am, we need your help.
Let me guess. You tried to steal some poor guy's car keys, but then Ted dropped them, and then some wild animal probably took them and ran off.
How did you
Okay,
know?
Wow. That's exactly what happened.
It was a seagull, and he flew away.
Whatever, bozo. Here's a screwdriver.
Bozo.
Thanks, ma'am.
Make sure you bring it back. I'm not running a screwdriver charity here.
Let's call us a bozo. A screwdriver? To be all you play? Yeah, I remember. You told that that story before. Bear with me. It's a very nice and wholesome story.
You can take this one with you.
Nah, I just wanted to check on you.
Ted, stop goofing around and sort this out.
Wasn't that long ago? Hey, it's all good. A few years ago. Wait, so we got those keys for nothing? We could have just asked her for a screwdriver this whole time.
Well, let's hope this works.
What the fuck? Wait, that... Okay, I mean, that's what we're doing.
Oh my god, are you okay?
Sure. I'm fine.
Are you though?
Yeah, you?
I'm okay. Well, you failed miserably, but somehow it worked out even better.
What do you?
Look, you even decommissioned the dogs.
What? What dogs? Let's go, kid.
You sure you're okay?
I thought he was gonna fucking ram into it, like Need for Speed into it, but then this bad puts it in fucking reverse. And reach the boss killer path. Oh, just yeah, from casually playing it, you got to the pod. Yeah, boss shoots that guy on camera, and then it's just like, what the fuck just happened? What in the yo? Damn, alright. That's such a spicy one. Which path are you gonna go down now?
Hello.
Hello?
Hello! That's weird.
What is? Let's see if we can fire this thing up.
Yeah, sure. Moving machinery. It's an assembly line of sorts.
This place is huge.
I should use a console for that. I
mean to double click. Man, so far I'm also really liking this game. I really like the atmosphere and everything in this game. Quite nice. And the humor is pretty goofy.
Moving line operating apparatus.
It's an assembly line console, Ted.
That looks like a power switch. Let's get to work.
I should use a console for that.
What the fuck? And go down another path. I see. I don't really remember what other paths. Yeah, that boss killer path, but hey, let me know which other path you go down. A quick question about this game. Does this game have multiple endings? What am I moving here? How does this even work? Oh, no idea. You just remember gaming like a child. Playing it non-stop. Playing the funny bag game. Oh, whoop. Yeah, how does this work? Minus equals plus.
One of the steps must have been wrong.
Wait, oh, shut up. So this one needs to be changed? And then this one? Beep, 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 beep. Oh, there you go. Beep, 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 beep. Wait, not this one?
Come on, Ted. You got this. So...
Shut up. Oh, oh, I don't know, just hit it again, see what happens. Oh, then it goes up there. Okay, yeah, so this one does need to be like that. All we need to completely go back. I don't know, but if you had it like this, then it went over here, didn't it? Yeah, then it goes over here. But then what if I have that as a... No. Wait, but yeah, then if I had that as a plus, it went up, didn't it? Or was that this one? Okay, remember it's the fourth last one. Yeah, if it's that, then it goes that way. So what if we...
No. The mine.
Stop. Shut up, bear. You know, so no. That one has to be like that. What if we change that one? Where does that go? Okay, wait, that works. Then we need to change that.
No.
Oh my god, it's the Gov. The bingo Gov man with the raid. Appreciate the raid, Gov. How did your bingo go? How many winners did you get in the end? Oh, so that one, wait, no, did it? Nah, no, so that one has to be a minus.
So.
I need to pick a name. I already did though, that first one. Or do you want me to pick another one? There you go.
Nicely done, Ted. Nicely done. This box, it's full of relays.
But there's supposed to be a shortage.
It doesn't matter. Get one that'll fit in Robbie and let's go.
This one, Ted. It's his.
What's up with the dramatic music?
Will it fit?
No, you don't get it. It's Robbie's relay. See? The serial's the same.
What?
Oh. That's a bit suspicious.
How's that?
Is Skinner using robot relays to produce his headlights?
It appears so. Holy Christ. This is huge, kid. But we can't jump to any conclusions.
Wonka W.
Evidence is all here, Ted.
Not all of it. I need to get into his office somehow. I saw something earlier that piqued my interest.
What's your plan?
I'm not sure yet. But it's going to be reckless.
Use it how?
Yeah, you want me to pick a new one? I see. I'll think about what Mr. Gov. He wait till tomorrow. Well, it's gonna be a while before you do another bingo, because, yeah, I mean, that's gonna take you a couple of streams.
It's Skinner's office.
It's really
It's
high
Matt,
And
man.
at slinging
Why?
weapons.
Why'd you even have Witcher on there, you crazy psychopath? Oh, so you had 9 winners in the end? Yeah. People went crazy with bingo in your stream, too.
It's broken. Kind of a safety hazard.
We could use it. What? What are we... What? Huh? What are we using it for? What do you mean you didn't think people would know it? Oh my god. It's such a popular franchise. What do you mean?
Use it how?
Yeah, how I'll be using it. With the crowbar?
A good crowbar.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. What people would know which? Come on, man. Has a Netflix show and everything. How would people not know?
I'll definitely keep this.
And it's a popular book series.
That's an idea. Good thinking, champ.
What the
I
fuck?
think we're on the same page here. Bon voyage, bear.
See you later, bear.
Just be careful, you know.
Rip. Look for his trash.
Hello there. It looks like someone tried to dispose of this evidence.
I didn't get to click on him before.
Nah, that thing gives me the creeps.
Fuck, the bear died. Now what? I guess the kid's on his own now.
Yeah, if they say it's art, it's art. Lights and such, I don't really care. Oh, that was quite the flight. I hope the kid is okay down there by himself.
Yeah, he's fine. He's probably happy. He's getting a little break from you.
It's a phone. People speak to each other through it.
Really? That's how that works?
Can't call Locke yet. I need solid evidence first.
You're out of frame. Oh, that's cool. No, unequip it.
Okay, I think this is it. Now I just need to tape them back together again.
What does he... Tape it together with the hot liquor.
I really shouldn't.
Same thing. Scotch tape.
Alrighty, now to find things to tape. Great.
Oh, is this an actual puzzle I have to do?
I love wasting time.
Yo, that's sick. Actual puzzle, poggers. Puzzle time.
All right, good start.
Puzzle time with the pet. That goes over there. Probably in the middle. What's the other piece of the invoice? It says invoice. Oh, we have this. That goes over here. There's so many blank ones though that could be like anywhere. No, but this is a phone number. Does that go here? Wait, this goes here, doesn't it? Fuck. Why did? Oh, here it is. The other piece of the signature. There we go. Is it connected? Yeah. Amount. Oh. Well, I'm pretty sure that's correct. I just can't connect it right now. Where else do we have numbers? Wait, no, is it like this? Oh. There's multiple amounts. It's starting to look like something now. Welcome back, Gov. Just in time for puzzle time. Nah, that's up there. When you went to shop, you left your phone and your coat. Yeah, what was that all about? What was that whole shopping segment about? Do you actually go like outside and shop? Huh? What a random thing to do midstream. But you do you. Oh, this goes down here. To go shopping for dinner, I see. Just the way you worded it made it sound like you went out to learn how to shop for clothing or something. Where does this 6 go? I think this goes over here. Oh. No? Why else do we have text? Oh, wait. Hold on. Nah, there's no way this is connected. Oh. Oh. There you go, that's connected. Then we just need that tiny piece up there. Didn't I have a tiny piece? Ah, there you go. He doesn't see the magical piece that fits. What do you mean? Look at this. It's a masterpiece. Almost done. Look at this. Magical piss. I know, right? I don't know why I was about to say that. Don't worry. Don't worry about it. It's okay. Oh, don't think too much about it. You poured yourself a drink. What drink did you get? See? Puzzle champion.
I need to call Locke.
Bingo.
Stanton, is that you? Yeah, it's Ted. How's Barb? Good. Good. Listen, I need to talk to the commissioner. It's really important. Sure, I'll wait. Thanks, champ.
Thanks, champ.
Locke, it's Ted. No, wait. Wait, goddammit. I have news. No. Why would I be in his office? That's... what? What's caller ID? No, wait.
Caller
okay,
ID,
fine.
get wrecked, bear.
I'm at his office, but listen. I found some stuff down here. You need to send someone here to check this out. It seems that good old Smiley was behind the recent kidnappings all along. What? Yeah. I mean, I had a few. That's not important right now. Will you listen to me? There's plenty of solid evidence in his production line, and I even found a paper trail proving he was working with an external provider. That's right. That bastard is stealing robot relays and using them for his headlights. Believe me. Don't believe me. I couldn't care less. Just send someone down here with a warrant and turn this place upside down. Yeah. Okay, fine. I'm on my way out anyways.
I just realized that his glass
Locke.
silhouette is holding a drink.
He hung up. It's time to wrap this up, Ted.
Killer deals with shock bundles. Of course, it's in
I
yen.
did. There was a receipt
Paul
on his desk
found a
earlier,
loophole.
which he tore up, and which I, in turn, taped back together.
What did it say on the receipt?
It didn't say who it was from, but it did say our dear friends Harry and Barry delivered the package.
Wait, those two idiots from before?
Yeah, those two idiots from before.
Okay, so let's go get them.
No, not yet. Let's go back to the repair shop first.
I really love
boy,
these cutscenes.
What a mess this turned out to be. After stumbling for a while in the metaphorical dark, a literal light shined on the case. A light in the form of industrial lights manufacturer, Illuminarium. Smiley Skinner, their CEO, was ordering heaps of relays from an unknown source in order to stay ahead of the competition in this time of shortage. The only problem was, the relays he was ordering were being taken from his fellow robots, leaving their stripped husks all over town. Despicable, if you ask me. Not that anyone ever does, though. We were lucky enough, I guess, to come across Robbie Robertson, one of the most recent kidnappees. His missing relay brought us to Skinner's doorstep, and wouldn't you know it, we found his relay, among others, in Skinner's production line. Locke came through, surprisingly, and arrests were made. Smiley is facing some serious charges, and I hope he goes down for a long, long time. It's only fitting. On the other hand, I know we're not done yet. Even though Skinner's out of the race, he was just ordering the stuff. Someone else was the supplier. But who? I already know those two run trout are behind all of this, but they're not exactly the thinking types. Someone else is pulling the strings. Someone who knows how to stay out of the lights. I'll drag them out, eventually. Right now, I have an accountant to resurrect. Hopefully, he'll have some more information regarding all of this. The kid turned out to be of great help after all. Not only does he have really good ideas, he's also fairly strong for his age, saving me from having to actually do much. The thing about Amber shook me up a bit, I'll admit, and I understand now why he was acting so weird. It's gotta be hard on the kid, blaming himself like that, but as I told him already, it wasn't his fault. I know deep down Amber's going to be just fine. She always is. She's a fighter. And it seems both apples didn't fall far from the tree. These two kids, they just don't know how to quit. I got to admire that, and whoever the mysterious supplier is will learn to fear that.
Where are we going? No. Are we going back to repair the robot? I mean, I would assume it carries over. Save and everything, or your online person player.
As a matter of fact, we did.
Wait, really?
Yeah, really.
It was exhausting. We had to break in.
Let me just intervene here before incriminating stuff gets said.
It's fine. I don't even want to know. All right, boys. What do you say we put this accountant back together again? And then you can get the hell out of my shop.
Well, you put it like that.
Do it. Let's repair the robot.
All right. I hope it works.
Puzzle. How's the game? It's fucking great. I love this game from the moment we booted it up. I got into the playthrough because the atmosphere in this game is just great. And it's full of random goofy puns and fourth wall breaking stuff. Really nice. Plus I love detective games. I love detective games like this. Detective noir games. You're puzzled. I'm puzzled too. How you threw Witcher 1 and 2 on your to-do list. Let's see.
Obvious one.
Oh.
Where does it go, though? Obvious one. Where does it go, though? It's as red goes. This one is blue.
This puzzle.
Well, it's not yellow, that's for sure.
It's actually a half one. It's a... You want to play them? I mean, that's understandable, but... You know... Maybe you should have given it its own list. It's... Yeah, man. They're quite long. They take a little bit. Bob Ross. Oh, it's about Ross puzzle. 35 hours. 48 for you. Yeah, no, I mean that's still a little bit. Basic jack, basic jack. That's true. Keep you busy for a little bit. For a few days. So that's nice. Then you don't have to mocha shake about what to play. I mean, I see why this could be a little difficult, because how the hell? How are you supposed to know which circle one is the right one? So we're just gonna have to guess. But you have nothing to do. Yeah, and that sucks a bit when you're just mindlessly doing stuff without a goal. But yeah, well, now that you're doing Witcher 1 and 2, I think, right? Then yeah, we'll have something to do for a few days. No, just one. I thought he picked 2. I see, just one? Okay, but then yeah. You'll be busy for a couple of days then. This way. Did that do it? We cool?
Alright, I hope it works.
I think I just have to switch these 2 around. Oh, I see. Yeah, I just have to switch those 2 around. Yeah, so that one needs this one. Oh, we had the first one, right? Another one that's only one of. Oh, yeah, this. So is it these 2 that have to be switched around? What's his last one not right? What's that?
Obvious one. Where does it go, though? Obvious one. Where does it go, though? Come on, this one is obvious. Come on.
Oh wait, so is it these that have to be switched around?
It's as red goes.
Oh yeah, there you go. I thought it wasn't too bad.
Obvious one.
There
Where
you
does
go.
it go, though?
Wasn't that bad. That was a nice one actually. I kind of like that.
He's booting up.
You just have to count how many wires that were of each one.
Take it easy, buddy.
And yeah, just put it together from there.
What? What's going on?
It's a long story.
You were kidnapped, murdered, and stripped of your internal parts.
Although not too long, I guess.
I was dead? Holy motherboard! Hey, aren't you that guy who's dating Betty Davis?
I mean...
You have some catching up to do, accountant.
This bundle of joy here is Fixie Mender. She's the one who put you back together.
I'm sorry. This is a lot to take in all at once.
Can you remember anything about the night you were kidnapped?
No, after the union meeting, I got to my apartment, and the next thing I knew, I woke up here.
Wait. Don't you record everything you hear? What if you were recording for a couple of minutes still, like after you died, you know?
Kid, you're a genius.
I guess that could work. Let me check.
Happy birthday, Tiger. Ready for your present?
Oh, what did you...
What?
That's not... That's something else. Just a second. It's still not...
Monka toss. Wrong audio clip.
Should I be here for this?
There we go.
Please be the right one.
Get his feet first, Barry.
Come on, man. We talked about this.
What are you talking about?
Before he got friend zone. Man, that's still so messed up. What happened with me and Spirit?
Call you that, buddy. Ever.
But it's my code name.
You know what? Fine. I'll make sure that's what it says on your tombstone after she's through with you. Okay?
Oh, I knew it is pretty funny. Had that whole intimate moment. Then she let me keep the glass shot that was stuck in her. That got stuck in me.
Okay, you two. What
Then
the hell is
5
going
minutes later, she
You'll find it
friend
in the
zones
papers
us.
tomorrow. We don't have time to explain it now.
Who were they talking about, Ted?
I don't know, kid. Although...
What?
Nothing. Let's get to the Jungle Jazz bar. We have some fish to catch.
What about this guy over here?
I don't think I can walk just yet.
Huh. That's what she...
Don't you
What
dare.
the fuck?
Right. You stay here, buddy. Fixie will take care of you. Won't you, Fix?
What the hell? Do I look like a nurse?
We'll be back for him. I owe you one. You're great.
Ted, you better fix this fast, goddammit. Oh, damn it. Damn you.
Bye, miss. I'm sorry.
You're off the hook, sweet chicks. Just hurry up.
So, what's your deal?
I'm happily married, Tiger.
Oh.
Yeah.
Am I missing a finger?
Yeah, oh, sorry, I still have that. There you go.
I shouldn't waste it. Good finger is hard.
Wait, I can't give it to her? I still need that for something else? Oh my god. Where did the glass come from? It came from her body.
I shouldn't wait. I shouldn't waste it.
I really can't give it back to him? Alright, well, I'm gone. I have your finger right here, buddy. But I'm keeping it. Because I'm sure it'll come in handy later. Oh, everyone's gone. I shouldn't waste it. I shouldn't waste it on the guy who actually owns it. who actually whose finger it actually belongs to. Are we waiting for something? Oh.
Who knew Paper City's shady underbelly was so into appreciating music?
Wait, there's a pepper here. A frog.
It's fake. It looks nice, but it's fake.
Oh, we're waiting for performance or something.
Look, Bear, it's the defectives.
Ah,
Good one, Harold.
Yeah,
nice one,
good
Harold.
Harold. It'll be the real zinger inside the joint.
What the hell are you talking about, Bear?
Don't you have some other actress you can let down again?
Okay, I've had enough.
Shh. Lily's about to start.
Yeah. Why don't you appreciate some art?
Let's take it for a nice steady walk. What do you say? Give me a couple of high notes there, honey. Beautiful.
There's literally no talking to them.
Let's cut this concert short so we can corner them.
What do you have in mind?
Leave it to me.
Are we gonna steal another car? But what would I have picked? I would have picked DBD, obviously. If I wouldn't pick DBD, probably Coffee Talk. Probably Coffee Talk.
Nah, not right now. It says trapdoor underneath.
Oh my god. Are we about to do what I think we're gonna do? Fucking drop her through the trapdoor. Let's listen to her sing for a little. Kill her. No. Gotta listen to her sing really quick. Drop her to her death. Do we know her? No, not really. Not at all. Even better. Well, let's do it.
I'm sorry, Lily.
I hope she lands on something soft.
That scream. So where were we? Where were we, Harold and Barrel?
Oh no, what happened to the music?
It's anyone's guess, Snoop.
Oh my god, Harold! This is just like that dream I had! Remember?
What?
I need a drink. This was underwhelming.
I'm freaking out, Harry!
Alright, just calm down. Jesus. Have one of them cocktails you love so much.
Yeah, anyways, I need a word with you two.
We're looking to wet our beaks right now, Snoop. So unless you know how to mix drinks, we'll see you when we see you.
Yeah! Let's have brunch sometime!
I just killed someone for no reason. No, like the kid said, she lands on something soft. Harold and Barrel. No, I said Harold and Barry.
Okay, boys, what'll it be?
Are you even supposed to be back there?
Listen,
I am now.
You want the booze or not?
All right.
Okay, boys, what'll it be?
Are you even supposed?
Listen.
All right.
Harold Mackerel and Barry Barracuda. Two lowlifes connected to the Paper City's black market.
What should we make him? A Jungle Joe, Short Island Ice, 6 on the Beach, Mosquito, Upside Fizz, or Plush Gush. What do you want? What do you want me to make them? A Plush Gush. Plush Gush, come right up. We have experience with this after all the coffee talk we played, so. 1 cubed eyes, blue honey, distilled plush raccoon. In this vase. Hurricane glass. Cubed ice. Blue honey, distilled plush. Oh, it's a drink. Rare candy. I was gonna say, it would be cool if there was a game like this where you just make drinks, but there is, I'm pretty sure. Or like Valhalla or something.
It's some sort of candy.
This man is still bringing up me hitting the vape in VR. Man, that was fucking funny as fuck.
Nothing unusual here.
I take a fat hit. Man, that game was great. Blood and Truth VR is an amazing VR game.
Sparkly. Ah, sweet, sweet nectar.
Every single VR stream we've done has been fucking amazing, pretty much. Every time we've done like VR week, it's been a blast.
Sounds French. This stuff is just pure ethanol.
Guy choked. Yeah, nah, man,
It's crushed. Ice, I learned.
I was taking a fat hit.
Sizes. Cubed ice works fine for some cocktails. Not all.
It's PSVR week 2.
Kinda rustic.
A PSVR 2 week. Oh, well, I don't have a PSVR 2, so not happening right now. Get one.
It's probably my finest work to date.
That looks terrible.
It's missing that wow factor, you know?
How'd you fuck it up so badly? Wait, I made it perfectly. Cubed eyes. Blue honey. Blush. And candy.
How about this? It's probably
You fucked it up again.
work to date.
Well, I guess we're making another one. Get one. Do you know how expensive it is? Sure, if you'd be willing to, you know, cough a little money my way, then I'll happily get it. It's like just as expensive as the fucking console. No. You're the 4th one. What, the mosquito? Two cubed ice. Mud flower. Sparkling orange. Smells red candy. Oh no, distilled plush. Never mind, I read the wrong thing. But we got it. I saved it.
There you go.
Where did that patch come from? Alright, well, which one now? They clearly didn't want the mosquito. Second one, Short Island iced. Shard ice. That's not even here, is it? Oh wait, hold on. Let me make the mosquito again. I am pretty sure I used the wrong cup.
There we go.
What?
Looks great, huh?
It's okay, I guess, but I'm up for
Where did that
something
buck come
more
from?
flair.
Oh, whatever. That's clearly wasn't it.
Okay, boys. Listen.
All right.
But there is no shot eyes. Unless it's that eye shots, I guess. Worded differently. 1, 2, 3. The fuck? Orange and carriage. What? Look at that tiny thing.
Have a sip.
I'm more of a specific contact kind of guy.
Really?
Pretty funny.
Thank you, Joker. Well, which one should we try now? We'll get it eventually. Bird. Is Shatton do? God, this man. God would fit perfectly into the scheme below his fucking puns. A 6 on the beach. Oh yeah, right, sparkling orange. Maybe.
This turned out real nice.
Where did the
Bottoms
shark
up.
fin come from?
Interesting, but not my cup of tea.
Ah, as if you have preferences.
Okay, I had a feeling you were gonna say that. 6 on the beach. Like sex on the beach. Wait, hold on. Do we have to do it in reverse maybe? Like put the drink in first? And then like the ice last? Nah, same
This turned
outcome.
out real nice. Bottoms up.
Looks interesting, but not my cup of tea.
Ah, as if you have preferences.
The first one. The Jungle Joe. Carrot juice.
Okay, boys. What'll it be?
Are you even supposed to be back there?
Wait, no.
Listen.
All
I
right.
didn't click on you.
Alright. That'll be 13 doubloons.
I'm not
The
paying for that.
balloons.
It's not what I want.
It's not your father's approval.
Oh, you went there, didn't you?
Tried everything but Southside Fist. That really the one? I think maybe we have to, like, you see the meter over here? Maybe you have to make it just perfect.
There we go. Careful.
Oh, it's just how I imagined it. Look, Harold,
Oh.
sure is a beaut. And it has your eyes.
Mazel tov.
That's fucked up, man. We literally did all the wrong ones. That's just messed up. The worst drink. The least appealing sounding drink.
Oh, good. I was hoping I'd get something heavy and broken to carry around again.
Well, I guess let's go talk to them. Sing for you. Yeah, you don't want that, trust me.
Here's a quarter for your effort, Bear.
Listen,
It's assassed.
we're not really in the mood, so,
No, you listen to me now.
Why should we?
I found Robbie, you stupid idiots. The proverbial jig. It's up.
Whoa. Who?
Robbie Robertson.
As if he'll tell you anything.
Why wouldn't he?
Bear, remember what we talked about?
Not only you talking to the police?
Safe bet.
Okay, Ted. You got our attention.
Hey, is that a bat on the ceiling?
You got my attention. Let's say you did find him. Presumably, he told you some things, right?
Right.
Okay, smart guy. Barry here desperately wants to be called by a code name when he's out and about. What's the code name?
Sakura Dick the birthday boy. Susan Zero Cool the Fresh. Oh fuck yeah, what was that earlier? In the message the robot was playing. Dick the birthday boy. You want me to go on stage and sing? You know, if we're applying the same logic as with the last one, that the least appealing one is the correct answer. Yeah. Which one is the least appealing one here? Susan? I'd say Susan. So if we're going with the same logic from the previous puzzle, the least appealing one is the correct one, then it would be Susan.
Susan.
No.
Oh.
Not even close.
Is that the same logic? Well, how about Fresh then?
The Fresh.
Alright, but you could have heard that anywhere.
Like where?
Never mind, the gov got it right this time.
Fair enough.
We had it right the first
You
time.
got lucky. I'm still not convinced, though.
Okay, fine. Let's drag this out some more.
After Barry bites the bullet, where did I say I'll mention his code name?
It's Tombstone, I remember that. And a chewing gum commercial. An angry letter to your mom. It's Tombstone.
His tombstone.
That's right, his tombstone. Okay, let's move on. I can't tell if it's just blind luck,
Letter to his
or if
mom.
you really know something.
Hey, you came up with the damn system. Can we continue? I need to call the cops on you.
Okay, fine. If we're carrying out a body, but like a hypothetical body,
Sure.
what do I always tell Barry to grab first?
The head, hands, a wallet, feet. I don't remember. Wallet. Hands? Why does that have? Why does hands have question mark?
A wallet?
No, Ted.
Didn't even hear the question. Hands.
Hands.
No, Snoop. Wrong.
No. Head.
The head.
Nah, that's
Oh
not
my
it.
god, it's really the feet. Come on, man. I didn't want to pick that.
Feet.
Yeah.
I didn't want to pick that after what happened with me in Spirit.
Okay, what's
Gives
going
you bad memories.
How do you know all this?
I told you idiots. I got the key witness. And I got the paper trail proving you delivered his parts to Skinner, who, by the way, just got arrested.
Oh.
Yeah, oh.
Okay, so what the hell do you want?
I want to make a deal.
Sure. Okay, sure.
Hey guys, did you see? There really was a bat up there.
Hey.
Wait, what are we talking about?
Yeah, okay, sure. We're gonna make a phone call?
Who are you calling?
Locke. Shh. Stanton. Stanton, is that you? Yeah, I need to talk to the commissioner. Is he in? Come on, man. I need to talk to him. It's important. Well, tell him it's someone else. I owe you, buddy. Locke. Yeah, no, it's me. But wait. I have some new info on the case. What do you mean it's done? It's not done. Skinner was just buying the stuff. Someone else? What? Listen, just meet me at the old lighthouse tonight. Down by the bay. Bring the boys and...
Bring
Locke.
the boys.
Locke. God damn it.
He hung up?
He hung up.
So what, we're on our own?
Like that's out of the norm. Once more into the fray, kid. You up for it?
It's really not fair. You
He
know that.
has no
What isn't?
emotions.
How
I like
everyone's
that.
treating you.
Plus, he's been through
It's
a lot.
fine, kid. I'm not doing this for credit.
Still,
He was shot by
basically
his
solved this case
girlfriend,
I wasn't on
but
my
he
own.
survived.
I had some help.
So what now?
Let's go see how Robbie's doing. This feels familiar somehow.
Done? What do you mean it's done? He does talk in the same tone
hotspot
all
really
the
says it
time,
all.
yeah. Done? Well, check, is it done? Can anyone confirm? Is it done? Well, we're not going to the lighthouse yet, right? We're going back to Robbie, he said.
Hey, sweet cheeks. How you holding up?
Sweet cheeks.
I mean, really, Ted?
What? I was talking to him.
I'm just getting
I was
some rest.
talking to the
My head
guy.
is still...
That's great, buddy. Good to hear it. Listen, we need your help.
What's the plan here, Ted?
Okay. As far as PCPD is concerned, the case is closed. Smiley is going down for a long time.
Great. Case closed. Get out.
Not quite, doll. Those two idiots are going to meet with whoever's hiring them tonight.
And your plan is to...
We're going to bring heat.
But you just said that the police aren't going to help.
The police aren't, but you are.
Oh, I don't know about this. It sounds dangerous.
Don't worry. You were already dead once today.
Oh, okay
Good
then.
point.
So...
We need to make some modifications to this guy first.
Oh, I get it. We're gonna bluff.
That's right, kid. We'll need some bright lights up there. Play some police noises, and boom. We got ourselves a confession.
Well, either that or we'll get shot.
That's what I mean. Either is fine. Right, people. Let's get to work. And when I say people, I mean you, Fix.
I got that, Ted.
Great, case closed. Fuck off. Case closed. Like, the bear can go home and get drunk.
Back already? Great.
No.
Ted.
We've heard that dialogue before.
Oh, Carrot Series 62, I believe. It's a beautiful car.
Sure is.
Yeah, so we're going back down here now.
So this is the place?
Overseas.
It's the place, all right. But
Place,
it's not the
alright.
time. Yet.
No, I mean for the showdown. I like the location. It's nice.
The showdown.
Kind of a cliche, if you ask me. But no one ever...
Dad.
Yeah.
For what it's worth, I had fun working with you.
Ah, shucks, kid. Don't get all mushy on me now.
Shut up. I just wanted to let you know. That's all.
Thanks, kid. I had a good time, too. But it's not over yet, mind you.
I know. So, shall we go check what's inside?
That's the plan.
You're kicking people out of your room, excuse me. Sound like your room's crawling with people constantly.
It's the sea. Calming.
I can touch the sea.
Use the sea. Really? Use the sea. Really?
This kid a girl?
It's just a bush.
Shrubbery of some kind.
Might be a good hiding place. Or something.
They hinted at that in the beginning, yeah. Something like that. The bear was like he, but then the kid replied with she. Or something. Pretty sure it is a girl. Think? Oh, I'm not quite sure. Yeah. I thought it was a girl at first, too. Here's the sea, really?
It's filled with light bulbs, presumably.
Maybe we can use one. It's a first aid kit.
No capacitors in this one, though. Yeah, for light housing.
Whatever that implies.
What?
It's just a rope.
We could have used that back at the cinema.
Oh, yeah. Go back in time?
Are you... what?
Never mind. We don't need it.
Time travel.
It's a flotation device.
Let's leave that here and hope we won't need it.
You want that bear to drop kick someone? That
It's just lighthouse stuff.
Yeah, for light housing.
is so out of nowhere. Excuse me. Why do you want him to drop kick someone? He already...
I'll take the
He went
bandages.
driving and
You never know.
crashed earlier. But that wasn't purpose, though.
It's a first aid kit.
No capacitors in this one.
It's nailed down. I can't open it like this.
Do we still have the crowbar? Yeah, we do.
It's full of light bulbs.
Take one with you.
Way ahead of you.
Where's his other item? What do you mean, what the fuck, Leo? What? I didn't say anything. I just said he went driving, yeah. We broke into a car earlier because we had to break into a factory. That was right before you raided us. We broke into a car with a screwdriver. And then the bear wanted to break down the fence by driving into it, but instead he put the car in reverse and broke down a sign, and then the sign took down the fence, so it all worked out in the end.
Nah, not right now.
Oh, okay.
Long way up, Bear.
Short way down, kid. Just be careful up there.
And why are we feeling weak? Hold on. Where did he say he wanted me to go? Kid's name, just kid. Nah, he does have a name. He does have a name. I think it's Finn or something.
Oh, man. I was great at pool when I was younger.
You don't play anymore?
Nah, I keep myself busy with other things now.
Robbie Robertson. Poor guy. He's been through a lot.
Well, at least he's alive now.
Good point.
Oh, I see.
Nice. The bulb fits.
Really? Thank you. Why was that so difficult? Oh my god, it took it this long to realize that. Bear with me. But we have a bear. We have to bear with the bear because of his puns and fourth wall breaking. I'm pretty sure this room is useless now. We've gotten so much stuff, much use out of that room. Useless. Keep up this. Your long streams, that's very true. It would be so weird streaming for a long time. And then like ending midday or something and then going to bed right after. It'd be so weird. Because I've been doing that for so long now. Streaming for a long time and then going straight to bed after. It's so weird not doing that. "20-minute break." Hey man, it's been a long day, okay? It's been a really long day. I'm fucking tired, alright? Alright, man. Fell asleep mid-sentence. He said bear with me. Hey man.
That actually is
You gotta bear with me too, okay?
pretty funny.
Nah, the way this night is playing out, we're going to need this soon.
Hey, we're both allowed to do that one, okay? Wait, what did the bear say? Do I need to give him his finger now? Maybe that's what it is, actually. Guess what? Oh shit, what happened? What's up? What happened?
I shouldn't wait.
Are you serious? Why can't I not give him his finger?
I shouldn't. I shouldn't.
Oh my gosh, Junior with the raid. Appreciate the raid, my good chap. How did the watchdoggos go? Did you end up playing that all stream? You're gonna go take another midnight shower with this fucking guy. This man sure loves his midnight showers, eh? Well, enjoy, brother. Enjoy the midnight shower. What's happening tomorrow then? Oh shit. Now the hashtag just boss rings? Cat kiss. Thanks, Mr. Junior. Thanks for the cat kiss. Cat kiss to you too. And hope your stream was good. Speaking of cat, there's a cat right there.
I have no use for a cat.
Does anyone?
Oh yeah. Well, if you have a week off of school, then yeah. You have to put that week off to good use. Why do we need a light? Wait, is it for the chameleon? No, wait, it's for this guy.
I'm not throwing this away.
But I don't know why would we need a light? I have no idea what would you need that for.
Hey there.
I don't have time for your shenanigans, Bear.
Point taken.
Oh my god, okay, I see. He's just pulling a Steven. You owe me some good cookies. But it was good. Hey, it's good to hear. It's good being back on Watch Doggo. Nice. That's nice to hear.
You kids.
That's
you kids. I really don't know where we need the light bulb. Where is the light bulb useful for? To light up the show. What show am I lighting up here?
I'm not
Your show? I'm giving it to him.
Okay, it's on, but it won't stay on. We need to secure it somehow.
Maybe welding.
This fucking hat? Okay.
Just tape it or something.
Plus, we're missing the bulb. It's not going to work like this.
Bandages?
There, it's working.
Okay.
It's using power from his auxiliary battery.
How are you feeling, Robbie?
It feels okay, I guess.
Great. We're all set.
I have a bad feeling about this.
Don't worry, kid. This is definitely not the stupidest thing I've ever done.
Just shut up, Ted. You're not helping.
Fair enough. Let's go.
Finally! Try not to get him killed again.
He'll be fine. Won't you?
I really don't think.
See. Okay, let's head out.
Why is 47 a teddy bear? What the fuck? Why? You're the second person who's called him 47.
Will you stop
What?
freaking him out?
Right. I'm sorry. Listen, Robbie. It's going
Why
fine.
does he?
The
Why
kid
is
and I
he?
are going up top.
And you stay here.
Bear 47.
Exactly. When you hear the door slam up top, you start blasting that light and play some police sounds. That's it.
Can you do that?
Yeah, sure, I can do that.
I knew you'd pull through. You're one of them tough accountants, aren't you?
I mean, I was voted.
Yeah, I know you are.
You stay hidden until you hear the door slam, okay?
Okay, I'm ready, guys. Good luck.
Thanks, man. He looks like Hitman. A bear version of Hitman.
Okay. The
cheeseburger
boys in blue
version.
are on their way. Where's your employer?
She'll be here soon. Just remember the deal, Bear. We get full immunity.
I can't get you full immunity. You're kidnappers.
Okay, but maybe half immunity?
Sure. Why not? Shh, I hear someone. Okay, this is it. Places, people.
Good evening, ma'am.
What's good about it?
Bam.
Ma'am, we were thinking, and
No, you won't. Otherwise, you wouldn't tell that goddamn bear about the relays. I'm still talking fresh. Now, Skinner got arrested.
But we thought you wanted him out of the picture.
Not like this. The boys
Not like
will make
this.
him sing. You two need to take care of him.
Speaking of the police...
I know he's gonna get shot. Yeah, just walk out like that. I'm sure that's a good idea. If I learned anything from Black Stat is that we're about to get gunned.
Lose the cloak, would you? You're not fooling anyone.
Well,
well. It's you!
You two got this far?
Fucked up, man.
I'm somewhat impressed.
Miss Warkovsky?
I mean, kid, you're the only one still surprised by this?
He doesn't know you well enough.
I should have known something was up.
And you.
Surrounded by incompetent idiots.
And by us!
It's our employer. It's our boss.
The only one I hired because he is an incompetent idiot.
Yeah, the one that hires.
To not be so incompetent after all. Good job, Bear.
Oh, by the way, I cracked the case. It was you all along.
Well, you're still not getting paid.
Seeing you behind bars will do.
That's funny, Snoop. In case you forgot how to count, you're outnumbered.
But, are we really?
I've had enough of this. Take care of him, will ya?
Door slam.
Oh, right. Okay, you got this.
Hey, the backup is here.
What's this? You brought the police?
Fuck
so,
yeah.
Mind doing a recount?
Go to hell, Snoop. What are you waiting for? Shoot him!
I'm sorry, ma'am.
What? What are you... Killed him! Now!
Ma'am, we
They sold you out, is what he's trying to say.
It's over, Miss Warkovsky.
Harold, you spineless bastard!
No, the fish! Rip.
Wow. I didn't expect that.
I did. Told you this was a cliche location. These things always turn out this way.
I'm sorry, Barry.
I can't believe he's gone, Gus!
Come on, let's go get Robbie.
Yeah, he's probably freaking
out. Arnold likes it. It's such a goofy game, I like it. And these cutscenes are amazing.
This all turned out for the
transitions
best.
Or whatever it'll call them.
I would rather see Lifty Warkovsky behind bars than dead. But I guess she didn't share my sentiment. The bodies were never recovered, however, and it's anyone's guess as to what happened to them. The official statement issued by the PCPD pinned Skinner as the sole mastermind behind the events. Despite my best efforts to expose the whole truth, Locke wasn't interested. A scumbag in jail is worth 2 scumbags in the wild, he said. On the bright side, with a little help from the Fresh, all the missing robots were dug up and put back together. He got a good deal in the process. He never did see Harold again, though. At the press conference, Locke and his goons took the stage. We were pushed aside, but hey, as I told the kid already, I'm not doing this for credit. Some robots were saved. That's enough for me. In the light of all the recent events, I finally mustered up some courage to pick up the phone and give Betty a call. All I got was her voicemail.
His head is so fucking massive.
It'll be a long time before I find the courage again. I like to think she's better off. Anyways, I guess, in the end, just like me, she kind of dodged a bullet too. Robbie's doing fine. He's back to his usual self. Whatever that is. Fixie Mender got a little press coverage as well. Her business got a boost, and I'm really glad for her. I'm glad for all of them. I've spent so much time brushing up against Paper City's underbelly that I forgot about the good people living here. People I like to call friends. I'm sad to see the kid go, but I understand. He's got his own thing going on. There's not much room left for an old relic such as myself. And that's okay. I'm sure Amber is going to be just fine. The important thing is that Flint now understands that what happened wasn't really his fault.
Get out of here, Vegas Tales.
I'm just glad that by the end,
this is not the time for gambling.
Sam caught us as we were leaving the conference. He took a picture of the real hero, as he puts it. I couldn't agree more. Who cares about recognition anyways? The kid was the real hero of the story. He did good. He saved them robots, and he saved me.
Case closed.
He gave me something to do. You okay?
Yeah. I feel a little lightheaded, that's all.
I mean, it was a hell of a case, kid. I'm surprised you're still awake.
Well, not for long, it seems.
You just rest, kid. I'll wake you up when we're home.
Hey, Ted?
Yeah.
I was thinking.
Now, that's dangerous.
No, seriously. Maybe we could do this again sometime. You know, you and me. Oh, and Amber. Like the three of us.
That sounds nice, kid. Let's do that.
Yeah. Let's. Could you close the window?
Sure, buddy. There's ash from the engine flying in. Just a sec.
Thank you.
No, kid. Thank you.
What a wholesome, happy ending. Lost robots no more. Bear with me. The end. Wait, was that the whole game? Was that the whole game? Did we just finish it? Or is that just chapter 1 or whatever? That was fast. Oh, that's a funny story. Do you know JoJo's Bizarre Adventure by any chance? No? Oh, well. Then it's time to watch it right here now. Let's go. That's really the whole game? I find that weird. I find that strange that that's the whole game, but well, that's the whole game. So it's a really amazing, funny, short and sweet game. I don't think it's over though. I feel like there is more after this, but I guess we'll see. Let's see what happens once the credits are done. Gotta watch JoJo. Yeah, I gotta spread the word of the JoJo. They love your ringtone. Hey, it's the robot we busted. Sounds like it. I mean, I don't blame him. Because it's a pretty sick jam. And then it's just like, yo, what? Huh? What's that? What is that from? Credits are still going. And we seem to have ran out of music and trains. Oops. This is awkward. They didn't anticipate the credits to be this long. Oh, rather, they didn't anticipate people to still be sitting here, because usually people skip the credits, I think. Oh, now we get to sit here in silence. Enjoy the silence. Squirrel jam to the silence. I think it's already over. Didn't get to jam out for that long. Yeah, I guess that was it. We did it. Wow, that was way shorter than I thought it was gonna be.